Welcome to K-Drama School. I'm your host, Grace Jung, and class is now in session. The show we're going to talk about today is called The Greatest Love, which is a 2011 drama. And it's written by Hong Mi-ran and Hong Jung-eun. They're collectively known as the Hong sisters. And they've written numerous hits like My Girlfriend is a Nine-Tailed Fox or Kumiho. They wrote Master's Son, which is a great show, and Hotel del Luna with IU. That would be the most recent show they've written. They also wrote a really bizarre TV show called Big, which came out in 2012. It's about an 18-year-old high school kid who switches bodies with a 30-year-old man. The man is played by Kong Yu, and he stars alongside Lee Min-jung. Lee Min-jung, who you've seen her in Boys Over Flowers. I find her to be a very underwhelming actress. Pretty face, but I don't think she's a very good performer. She's also married to Lee Byung-eun, who I'm pretty sure gave her a couple strains of HPV. But I'm just speculating. I don't know if that's true or not. Look, whatever. The man's a pervert, okay? That's right, I said it. He's a pervert. Moving on. What I love about The Greatest Love is that it stars Kong Hyo-jin, who I am a huge fan of. I love Kong Hyo-jin so much. Like, she's considered like the queen of romantic TV comedies. She's been in like quite a few K-dramas that I just so happen to be a huge fan of. You know, I think she's an amazing performer. She has an immense range. You know, she's similar to Son Ye-jin in that regard. She has quite a range. She's very versatile, and she can do like very grave, kind of serious dramatic roles, but she also plays comedic roles quite well, which is what she's doing in The Greatest Love. But she maintains a consistency to her screen presence, which is, you know, soft-spoken, but not too quiet. She's not like an annoying, mousy kind of quiet. Kong Yoo-jin also has a very small frame, which is partially the reason why she had a career in modeling, but she also has a very commanding presence on screen, which I really appreciate. And she did a few movies as well, and she's very good in those films. Kong Yoo-jin's specific talent, I would say, is crying, like on cue. She's very good at that. Whenever she's crying on screen, I happen to be crying as well, because she's just, like, when she cries, it just looks so sad. And I just find myself crying alongside with her. The other thing I adore about The Greatest Love is Cha Seung-won, who plays the character Dokgo-jin. Okay? He plays this bratty superstar kind of character. And Cha Seung-won, he's known for like a lot of melodramatic roles in films particularly. But this is a TV show. Cha Seung-won made me laugh so much on this show. Like his reactions to some of the scenarios that he's in, especially when like Kue-jung saves his name on her phone as like Dongko-jin. Like Dongko means butthole in Korean. Like that cracks me up, you know? And it's partially the reason why the Hong sisters make his name Dokgo-jin, because Dongko-jip is also like a word that's similar to Dokgo-jin, right? Dongko-jip means like stubborn as shit. You know, that's what Dongko-jip means. So it's got these, how do you say, alliteration, you know, close homonyms of sorts. In 2013, the Hong sisters wrote another TV show called Master's Son that also stars Kong Hyo-jin, but she's with Seo Ji-sup, you know, one of my favorite pieces of eye candy of all time. You know, Seo Ji-sup, he doesn't really play comedic roles often. So in Master's Son, I found Seo Ji-sup really trying to copy or emulate Cha Seung-won's mannerisms and delivery from The Greatest Love, which was really annoying to watch and a little bit disappointing to see. Like, in fact, like that kind of ruined the show for me, even though like I like the show very much. I mean, like Seo Ji-sup's super hot. Like I could watch him all day. I mean, He can annoy the shit out of me. I'll still look at him. It's fine. The Greatest Love also stars Yoo In-na, who plays Koo Hae-jung's former girl group member. You've seen Yoo In-na in The Goblin, of course, right? She plays the chicken restaurant owner and friend to Ji Eun-tak. And her character is in love with Yoon Pil-ju, who is played by Yoon Ge-sang, who was part of the old school K-pop boy group called G.O.D. Okay? He's been acting in Korean TV dramas and films since like mid 2000, like 2004, basically. The most recent performance you've seen him in is probably Chocolate, that Netflix TV drama, which, as I mentioned, is absolute crap. I think it sucks. I mean, you can go see it if you like watching Hajiwon cry, like in every single episode. I think Yoon Ge-sang's a pretty decent actor. You know, he's okay. By the way, if you don't know the band G.O.D, that means you're very young. But you probably know Park Jun-young or Jun Park or Junhee Hyung. Yeah, he's the rapper on G.O.D, and you know, he's a gyopo. He's a 재미 gyopo, meaning he's like like a Korean American, like Korean American diaspora. He's in this variety show that Netflix started to stream a few months ago, which I can't watch because it looks like it'll give me a headache. But yeah, Park Jun-young's in that. And I'm a big fan of Park Jun-young's personality. I think he's pretty hilarious. I especially liked him in episodes of My Little Television, season 1. Speaking of variety shows, I felt like this was a major theme on The Greatest Love. What you have to understand is that K-pop stars can't really sustain a long career. Like, the only exception is like Shinhwa. They're a huge exception. They've been around for like 2 decades, if not more. Most K-pop stars end up branching out into other careers, like acting. Okay, like Yoon Ge-sang being a case in point. IU is another example. SES's Yujin is another example. There are many, many examples like this. Many K-pop stars end up becoming actors. But K-pop stars aren't always able to act for TV and film. Like, they either don't have the face, they don't have the persona, whatever it is, like they can't do it. So what those K-pop stars end up doing is they end up making variety shows. Okay, they make variety show appearances. Like Hwang Kwang-hee from the boy band Zaya, he's one example, right? Like, he was on Infinite Challenge towards the latter end of Infinite Challenge, right before he went to serve his conscription duty in the military. He's also been a co-host on numerous variety shows. I think he's still a co-host today now that he's back from his service. Jung Jun-young was another example of this. He had a long career on 2 Days, One Night on KBS before he was removed from the show for his criminal charges. And you see this in a lot of models too. Quite a few Korean models end up pursuing a career in acting. Cha Seung-won is one example. So Ji-sup is another example. Song Seung-won is another example. And there are other models who end up pursuing a career in variety shows, like Jang Yun-ju. She's one big example. Han Hye-jin is another example of a model who has a variety show career. She used to be on I Live Alone for a while, but she left the show right after she and Chun Hyun-moo broke up. And so it goes. In fact, I read that Chun Hyun-moo is currently dating an SBS news anchor who's like 20 years younger than he is. Which is gross. I know I'm being judgy, but whatevs, okay? It's gross. You're a cradle rocker. It's gross. I really enjoyed The Greatest Love's ability to integrate some Korean variety show gimmicks, right? Like, they put it into the performance. They put it in as sound effects. They use a lot of slapstick moments, and Cha Seung-won makes some really hilarious faces throughout this program. The show even has Chung Jun-ha co-starring in it as Koo Hae-jung's older brother / manager. Chung Jun-ha is, of course, a variety show icon. He was on the very long-running show Infinite Challenge, which stopped running, I believe, in 2018. But he was a member on that show for a very long time. And Dokgo-jin's manager is named Jae-seok. And that, you know, for anybody who knows about Korean TV, like, you know, Yoo Jae-seok is a huge name in the variety show game, right? He's like the variety show host and comedian in contemporary Korea. So there are all these little intertexts that kind of harken towards Korean variety shows and Korean comedy in some way throughout The Greatest Love. In fact, while this show was filming, the members of Infinite Challenge made fun of Chung Jun-ha a lot, like throughout the filming process. Like, whenever Chung Jun-ha would show up late or if he couldn't do a certain thing, And he would say that it's because he's filming this drama. Like they would always give him shit about it. Like they started calling him the shoulder appearance because whenever there's like a close-up shot of Kong Hyojin, like his shoulder would be like in the frame, so they called him the shoulder guy. It's so funny. I miss Infinite Challenge so much. Like I wrote an entire 70-page chapter about Infinite Challenge in my dissertation, and I really hope you can all read about it someday. I just need a university press to buy my dissertation and turn it into a book. So please do that so that the people can read it. Today we're going to talk to one of my favorite local comedians ever. Her name's Kimberly Clark. She's been on Lopez Tonight as well as NBC's The Last Comic Standing. She's so funny. She's so genuine. She's a great joke writer and an overall beautiful mind. So let's talk to Kimberly Clark. You grew up in Syracuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
that's wild. I'm also from New York. Um I didn't grow up in Syracuse, like not upstate, but I did go to high school in Rockland County. Do you know where that is?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've been through there.
Yeah, that's where I
Mm-hmm.
went to high school. Yeah.
Okay. So you went to a private school?
No, it was a public school. All like Irish Americans, like all their fathers were like cops and firefighters and all their moms were nurses. So,
Interesting.
mhm.
Did you have to commute though? Because you say you went to school in Rockland County.
Well, I also lived in Rockland County, like my
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
for high school, yeah. Um,
Is that close to New Jersey?
very close. It's like yeah, like Ultapan was like right next to the town I lived in. So,
Okay.
Jersey was super
Okay.
close. Yeah. How did
Yeah.
how did you like it in Syracuse?
Girl, it was small. It's a college town, everything revolves around
Yeah.
the Syracuse Orangemen, the Carrier Dome. I
Mm.
mean, like that's what was going on in Syracuse. That and Carousel Mall, which is now Destiny Mall. It's
Oh.
like a huge indoor mall with a bunch of restaurants, entertainment, and
Mhm.
I think they're trying to compete with Mall of America actually
Yeah.
a little bit. It's that vibe, but
Yeah.
that's the type of place I grew up in. I mean, I loved it growing up, because there are aspects of it that I miss,
Mm.
now that I'm here in LA. Like there were like a lot of mom and pop stores,
Mhm.
We lived up the street from this like fish restaurant, and like we know the owner.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even call it a restaurant because you didn't sit down in there. Like you actually just ordered your fish, and it was just like a standing type place where you just get your stuff and you bounce.
Uh-huh.
But the food was like amazing. Like, you get your fried cod
Oh,
and your fries to go with it.
yeah.
And I don't know. It's just all that stuff. My neighborhood was mostly Italian
Mm.
and working class,
Yeah.
you know, like the school you went to, firefighters,
Yep.
police officers,
Yep.
yeah, that type of environment. It
Mhm.
was cool though.
Yeah.
Growing up, as I got older though, I was like, okay, we need to see some other things here.
Yeah. And the winters are
Yeah.
rough in Syracuse, aren't they?
Yeah, that was one of the things that drove me out was the winter. Senior year in high school, it's funny because I had to commute to my school
Uh-huh.
because I went to a private school,
Mm.
and I lived pretty far from the school, so I had to take the city bus into school.
Wow.
And I had to wake up crazy
Oh,
earlier than my classmates.
oh my God.
So I remember going to school, catching the bus, and then finding out when I got there that school was canceled because of the snow.
Uh-huh. Oh my God.
It was oh, I was pissed.
Ugh. Like,
I was pissed.
wasn't
And
there a
look,
system where you could call in and they would leave like a message like school is closed or something? Or
you listen to the radio or you watch the news
yeah.
basically, but they didn't announce my school by the time it was time for me to leave. So
Oh.
the weather had gotten worse by the time I got there. And thank goodness my physics teacher
Huh.
happened to be there and he gave me a ride home.
Oh, That's so
But I
nice.
swear to God, when I got there, I was like, "Oh, I'm leaving Syracuse." Like I believe that was the day I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna live here anymore."
Yeah. So you left
You know,
Syracuse?
I'm not.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I'm okay with Syracuse when it's not snowing. Like
Right.
I love it, but
Yeah.
when that snow starts coming down, I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be here anymore."
Yeah. So
I just knew.
so for college you go somewhere else?
Hmm.
Where'd you
I
go?
went to Arizona State.
Oh, nice. Oh, so like
Yeah, I went from
totally different.
extremes,
Yeah.
extreme weather.
Yeah, snow to the desert.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
120-degree heat. Yeah, when I said
God.
I didn't want to see the snow anymore, I meant it.
Lord.
Yeah,
Arizona heat is like intense heat. It's like delirious heat.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. What did you
It
study?
is. Broadcast journalism. My minor was
Um,
English literature.
yeah.
I like the English literature part of my degree more than the main part.
Yeah. I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah,
I used to think I
yeah.
wanted to be a journalist too. But I ended up becoming an English major myself. And it
You
was
went the opposite way.
yeah. It was the right choice for me, I think. I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
So did you like Arizona State? Was it a good fit?
Culturally, not particularly. The weather was great. You know, even
Mm-hmm.
though it was extremely hot, at least the winters were so mild. And,
Yeah.
you know, I was just happy to be out of those terrible winters growing
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
Um, and then the campus was gorgeous, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I literally felt like I was like going to school at a resort, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like
Yeah.
going to like the rec center and like they had this thing called the palm walk where it was just these tall palm trees and this long walk to the rec center. I mean,
Nice.
it was beautiful. You know, I used to send pictures to my friends. They're like, "We're so jealous." Had a swimming pool at my dorm. My dorm had a swimming pool.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy, child. Well, Arizona's a party school for white
Oh.
people, but
Ah.
it's a party school for
Mm-hmm.
sure. I mean, black folks party too, but not like the white ones. Like
No.
they had two fraternity rows.
Uh-huh.
Um, when I was going there, sororities could not have sorority houses because in the state of Arizona, if a group of women lived in one place, it was considered a
Oh.
brothel. So they So the sororities had dorms and they had their own floors. So the sororities just had dorm floors. They didn't have houses like the guys did.
Oh my
And the
Lord.
guys had two fraternity rows, not one, two.
Oh, I cannot believe that that is the logic. That is so fucking out there. I can't
It's
believe.
Arizona. It's Arizona.
I mean, yeah, but like still, it's like what?
Yeah. It's crazy.
That is so out there. Oh my gosh.
Arizona is a crazy state.
Yeah.
This is the first time I saw people with guns, like gun holsters, because you know they
Yeah.
can have guns there. And the state of New York is not like that.
Yes.
So that was very culturally shocking to
Yes.
see these men in cowboy hats and like literally they had guns
Yeah.
on their
The
waist.
whole
And I was just like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, the whole open carry culture.
I started listening to a lot of conservative talk radio when I lived out there too, because I just love to laugh. I would just laugh and laugh. It was so entertaining because I was not aware of this world. I didn't know what a militia was. I didn't know any of these things, and I was like, wow, I am so getting an education. I didn't know who Rush Limbaugh was.
Yeah.
I was like, dang,
Yeah.
this is crazy. I was like, people really feel this way. I used to listen to it a lot.
Yeah.
Grace, when I tell you a lot, like I would never miss a day.
Wow. And it was
It was
purely,
crazy.
it was pure comedy for you though.
Oh, it was hysterical.
What's like the
I just
funniest shit you
couldn't.
heard?
Well, I know I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh a lot. He used to make up songs like making fun of people, and
Uh-huh.
I was just like, "Oh my God, he's so ignorant but funny." I mean, I can see why he has like
Uh,
ditto heads. That's what
uh-huh.
he calls them.
Uh.
Um, because he's, very charismatic and funny. He's still ignorant, but
Yeah.
There's a lot of like
Yes.
ignorant, charismatic people out there.
Yes. Yes. It's
One of them.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about being entertaining.
Uh
And
huh.
that's when they give you a camera crew and a radio show and all this. All you have to
Yeah.
do is be entertaining. It doesn't matter how fucking stupid you are or out there you
Right.
are, just be entertaining to the people. And you were one of his audience members.
I fell into it. I fell into the trap. I sure did.
Yeah, but your political ideologies remained left.
Oh yeah. Well, they have to. I
Yeah.
mean, because everything they were saying was against.
Huh.
It wasn't about making my people better at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the ironic thing is like, you know, the leader of the Proud Boys, he's Black Latino, you know? Like,
Is he really? I didn't know that.
my gosh, Kimberly, it's the world is very much out there. Yeah, it's like seeing a Dave Chappelle sketch come to life.
I was gonna say that. That's like he's like the real life what was the guy's name? Brooksby?
The blind
Oh,
black KKK member.
dang. That's crazy.
But, you know, we have that
I'll
in
look into
California
that.
too. Like, you know, Bakersfield is full of a lot of, you know, Latinx workers who are undocumented, some of whom are documented, some of whom are citizens. A lot of them support Trump. It's um yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw some Trump flags around Burbank.
Ugh, I see that around here too. Like I go on this walk, I have this little route, and there's this one house that it's covered with Trump like paraphernalia, like covered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I walk by that house, like I feel a little unsafe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But they
Mm-hmm.
also have like Christmas decorations at the same time. I'm like, what's your message? Like, like is this like
Yeah.
a welcoming kind of place or a hateful place? Like, I don't know. I don't get it, but
Conflict of interest for sure.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Did you start comedy in Syracuse or in Arizona or in LA?
LA. I
Hmm.
started in LA.
Uh
Um,
what led you to
it's funny,
do that?
in college though, I was in a poetry group
Mm.
and all of my poems were funny,
Yeah.
ironically.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was kind of the start to going into that direction. But I really technically started stand up in
Uh-huh.
Los Angeles.
I think
So
that's a sensible kind of transition. It makes a lot of sense to me. You know, I mean, poetry, I
mhm.
mean, stand up in a sense is poetry in a lot of ways, I feel. It's got
Mhm.
rhythm and
Mhm.
timing, so does poetry. Um, who
Yeah.
are some of your favorite poets?
That's a good question. Like Langston Hughes
Oh yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a serious poet. That's the thing. I was like in this intense, very politically minded, socially minded poetry group
Uh-huh.
at Arizona State. And like whenever I got up there, my poems were just like jokes.
Uh-huh.
It was funny.
Yeah.
But I guess like it made me a good fit because it kind of was like comic relief from, some of the other themes and things that the others were talking about. I mean, I was with a group of really talented people.
Mm.
But
Have any of
yeah.
them gone on to have careers as poets?
They're not, well, one of them actually, his name is HB. He's definitely like very active in the community in Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
Arizona. Like he stayed in Phoenix. he's originally from Chicago,
Mm.
but he's definitely known like locally. I think he still does poetry groups. Um, he actually started like this whole movement and like event of poetry night that kind of spun off from what we started in college, which was cool. And it went on for like a very long, like a good 10 years.
Wow.
Like, wow, like,
Yeah.
it all started with us.
Yeah.
I have a friend named Isis Jones. She's really, really an amazing writer.
Mm-hmm.
She's working on a lot of projects and stuff, but she works in the nonprofit sector.
Mm-hmm.
She lives out here actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually consulting on a TV show that she's working on or she's writing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's wild.
and then Aaron is the other guy that's in the group, and he's pretty successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he works for like a nonprofit for like AIDS research.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, really
That's
smart people. And then
yeah.
there's me.
What? You're doing
And
great.
then there's me.
I think you're awesome. I love your comedy, first of all. Like, you kill me whenever you're up there. I think your
Thank you.
jokes are hilarious. They're always so thoughtful. I think they're so well written. I could see
Thank
that you were
you.
rolling with the poets back in the days, cuz yeah. I mean, I think
Rolling with the
comedy
poet.
is essentially writing, right?
Hmm. For sure. Even if you're not like physically writing it, you're writing in your head.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What are you working on these days? Like, now that, we can't do shows and can't do this, can't do that.
I know, right? I've been doing I've been doing Zoom shows.
Ah,
Those are interesting, aren't they?
yeah.
Um, Zoom shows here and there, but I've been writing on a TV show,
Mhm.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like a clip show.
Uh-huh.
It's not like an episodic show, but it's a clip show basically.
Okay.
Very easy to produce or whatever.
Mhm.
So I've been writing on that, but we're on hiatus right now because of the holidays.
Mhm.
But it's fun, and the first time I've been staffed to
Yeah.
write, so that's a cool thing.
Oh yeah. You kidding?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's really exciting, and yeah, just trying to stay active, and
Do they have like a writer's room? Like, do you guys meet in a writer's room meeting, and then do you guys like,
a virtual
yeah.
virtual version, but
Yeah.
it's not the same. I talked to someone who has written on several TV shows, and he was telling me, he said it's really not the
Mhm.
same as like being in a room and
Mm.
really brainstorming. I mean, we'll have like a meeting that's maybe about 45 minutes long, and then it's kind of like, okay, go to your computer and take the notes and, come up with something,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's not the same vibe, but
Yeah.
I've been a writer's PA too, so I kind of know what rooms are like too, and I can see how someone who's used to that environment would kind of be like, well, this isn't really the full experience,
Right.
the full collaborative experience of writing with
Yes.
a staff.
Yes. It's amazing how, like, once the liveness is gone, like person to person presence is gone, so many other things disappear with it. Even if we're trying to simulate that through Zoom, through video and
Mhm.
audio, like, Zoom shows are nothing like, a live show. And
Mm-mm.
a writer's room is nothing like like a Zoom writer's room is nothing like an actual writer's room where you sit in a room together, have the snacks and the coffee, and sit and
Mhm.
talk and
The
riff.
snack. That's probably the one thing I don't miss, because it's like hell to the no. That when you get staffed, you're also signing up for 20 pounds.
Yeah, they eat so much.
Easily.
Yeah, I
Oh my,
I worked
eat
for
and stay.
Comedy Bang Bang years ago, the TV
Okay.
shows, like the last season, and
Oh,
like
cool.
they like the writers would get the best food, you know? Like
Oh, yeah.
we would go pick them up like the best food from like Tender Greens like at least twice a day. You know, they got like
Right.
bomb ass food.
Right.
And yeah, they were always well fed. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Mhm.
The food.
Yeah, writers always need to eat well. So, yeah, you worked in quite a few production.
The very first TV set that I was on, I was a page at
Mhm.
CBS.
Oh,
So
cool.
I was on a lot of shows like trying to think of one off the top of my head. Price is Right.
Mhm. Wow.
um what is another one I did that was really good? Politically Incorrect
Okay.
with I can't think of the comic's name. He used to be on SNL. Anyways,
Mhm.
yeah. Bill Maher's show used to be there.
Wow.
So it was basically just standing there like a statue. I mean, you really didn't we really didn't do much of
Y-
anything.
Yeah.
Um and then I was a PA on the Drew Carey show for the last two seasons.
Oh, cool. What was that like?
It was cool. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
You know, he started in stand up.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
So
learned how to write jokes with from a workbook, is what I heard.
really, I didn't know
Yes.
that detail about him.
Yes. That's
Wow.
how he started. He learned the formula of joke telling with a workbook.
Mm, that's interesting.
Uh-huh.
Well, he gave me tips because I had to drive him home once,
Oh.
and he told me to write 10 jokes a day.
Mm.
And he said to when I do open mics to start with something that I know works,
Mhm.
stick the new stuff in the middle,
Mm.
and end with something that I know works,
Mm.
is what he told me.
Sound
But
advice.
I was like, 10 jokes a day? Damn.
That's what I mean. Like it's because he has that discipline because he had that workbook, you know? He
Yeah.
has the little
Yeah.
formula in his head, so it's easy for him to, or not easy, he just knows how to do it, right? But I guess
Yeah.
your style of joke telling, it's like it's very observational, you know? Like you latch on to
Hmm.
something and you keep digging in. So I think it's
Yeah.
harder to do 10 jokes a day with something like that.
I attempted.
Yeah.
I was like maybe up to five,
Oh, that's
if
still
that.
good.
Yeah. I mean, starting out, you know, you really don't know
Mhm.
what your voice is anyways.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I had the Judy Carter book,
Hmm.
you know, I did it all,
Yeah.
you know, trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
But yeah, that formula is very hard though. 10 jokes a day.
Oof.
Hard.
That's intense discipline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you try and write every day, or like do you have like a ritual or a system?
I I need to start doing that. I used to. Um
Uh-huh.
Now the way I come up with jokes is through conversation. I like having like these conversations,
Yes.
like what we're doing.
Yes.
If something I say is funny that
Yeah.
I see the other person react to, I write it down,
Yes.
bookmark it, and then I come back and try to develop it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
most of I would say 80% of my material comes from conversations that
Mhm.
I've had
Mhm.
and me just, you know, things that have come out of my mouth naturally funny
Right.
and working on that to present it for the stage.
Mhm.
Work jokes, you can go on and on with these jobs, boy. The stuff that that happens, it's just like wow, a
Yeah.
wealth of material. People
Yes.
always told me, they're like, "Oh, I can't wait till you stop working these jobs and you can just do stand up full time." And then I'm thinking, "Dang, that's like a lot of my material. That's my source of." I'm glad to be working, you
Of
know, like an
course.
entertainment job again,
Yes.
but so cool working these regular jobs
Yeah,
with regular folk that don't care about Hollywood
exactly.
and just listen to like their life. It's just so it's definitely rich.
It is, and
It's
it's
rich.
genuine too. Like I remember like I think I watched your Lopez special, your Tight Five on the Lopez tonight, and you talk about the Lady Jane cake.
Yeah, that was real.
Yeah, it sounded real.
That was, oh my God. This lady, she was acting like, I'm gonna take you in and I'm gonna show you the world at the Pacific Design Center. You know, it's like your ghetto tongue has never tasted truffle in a pastry. Oh, she was on one. Grace, I used to work with some
Oh god.
interesting people. I used to work in a Pacific Design Center. So,
Yeah.
like, that's a sitcom in itself.
Yeah.
It really, truly is. Words can't even describe. And you already know this because you're in academia, and
Yeah.
it's kind of that same fabric of people.
Yes.
You know, there and no pun intended.
Yeah.
I said fabric, Pacific Design. But and also I worked at a museum too, and
Uh-huh.
that was crazy. The
Yes.
people there were just insanely. Oh, I loved it though, because I was like, joke, 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 joke.
Yeah, like when people are like so in their own bubble of like elitism and like
Oh,
she mentality, it's like wow, like are you real? Like you're really
yeah.
like this and they are. They really
Yeah,
are.
they are. And they believe, girl, they believe everything they say. It's crazy. The entitlement. I was like, wow. And I got a taste of this too from going to a private school too. Oh
Mhm.
my, I saw the craziest crap at the school, the high school I went to, because, and I tell a joke about how like some of the mothers would come to the schools in fur coats.
Oh wow.
I remember this lady
Mhm.
at my school. She worked at the school. She was like part of the board or something. So she
Okay.
was always on campus, but
Uh-huh.
her daughter was in my class,
Uh-huh.
right? So I remember I had to see the biology teacher about something,
Mhm.
but this girl's mom was in there and the door was shut. And I said, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And I heard yelling. This lady was cussing the teacher out for giving her daughter, get this, an A
uh,
minus. She had on her full length fur coat, cussing the biology teacher out for giving her daughter an A minus. I was like, is this? Oh my God. It was amazing. I was like, I can't believe this.
yeah. That is unbelievable.
And she opened the door and walked out and looked at me and kept walking. I said, if I be down.
What did the biology teacher look like when you walked in?
Shook. She looked shook.
I was a woman. It's a female
Yes, it was
biology
a
teacher.
woman.
Oh God.
Yes, Miss Dopira, God rest her soul. She
Oh.
passed away, but
Oh, and she was an elderly woman.
no, she wasn't. She was fairly young. She passed away at a kind of
Oh
youngish age.
no. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Maybe this fur-coated lady killed her.
I don't know, but she definitely stressed her that day. I was like, what? Grace, I've never seen anything like that in my life. Ever.
Yeah.
Over an A minus.
The thing is, A minus students usually are the ones that come over and want to have a talk with me about why they got an A minus. It's it's never B plus students, it's never B minus, it's never C or D or F students. It's fucking A minus students who pull
A
me
minus.
aside to have a conversation. Why did I get an A minus? Yeah. I'm like, you
What are
get
you teaching?
cinema and media studies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like an A minus is an A minus. An A minus is a good grade. Like, you know, what's the problem?
Yeah.
But
It's an A for crying out loud.
it's a fucking A.
There
Yeah.
might be a minus
Yeah. Just,
behind it, but like,
yeah. Just put a fucking sticker over the minus if it bothers you so much, you know? Like, just put your hand over it, just cover it up. Like, I don't know. I should carry
woo.
around like stickers just for that reason. If students come up to me and be like, Grace, why did I get an A minus in this paper? It's like, oh, A minus. Okay. Put a sticker right over it. It's like, there you go. How's that? You know, just to,
Does that make you feel better?
does this help? You know, but I think it's just because, you know, perfectionist people are like that, you know, which I get to an extent.
Mm,
I got some perfectionist, you know, characteristics in me too. So I
mm.
understand it, but it's like nobody can help you if you're a perfectionist. You have to help yourself. You know, like,
Yeah, oh, for sure.
yeah.
That's all you.
The
That is all
the
you.
world is not going to adjust to accommodate your feelings about an A minus ever.
It never will. It never will. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so pissed. I have a good Steve Martin story because when
Hmm.
I worked at the Pacific Design Center,
Yeah.
um, Steve Martin came into the showroom,
Uh-huh.
okay? And nobody came to get me. And previously, I remember they came to get me when there was this tall black man because they wanted me to identify him. And I said, I don't know who in the hell that is. And then when Steve Martin came, I hear about it after he leaves. I'm like, why didn't you guys get me when Steve Martin was here? Like this, that is the person that I want to meet.
People are weird, aren't they? They're so something. Like, I worked in film distribution in New York for a number of years before moving to LA. And my fucking boss, the CEO of the company, whenever he had a meeting with anybody remotely Asian, he would like make me pop into the meeting just for like literally 30 seconds to a minute just to make a
Optics.
physical facial appearance. I mean,
Right.
this is Grace. She's Korean, you know? And I'd be like, "Yes, I am the Korean person who works here. Nice to meet all of you. I have no idea what this meeting's
Crazy.
about. I have no context. It's just like a freak show thing. It's like treating us like
Crazy.
token freaks of the company.
Right.
Good for just that, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. It's so annoying.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Meanwhile, like, you know, he would have me like attend like dinners or like, you know, meetings like involving like Korean films that the company would release, but like the Korean films weren't even necessarily my favorite films at that company, you know? Like there were some fucking movies that I wanted to be a part of that I loved, and it's just like, no, like Grace wouldn't be CC'd in those emails, you know? It's just
That's
so dumb.
hysterical.
So dumb. Yeah, I remember like
Uh,
he cut out literally like tore out a few pages from the New Yorker magazine that was an article written about K-pop. I have like zero knowledge or interest in K-pop, you know, and he like tore out the pages, stapled it, and like left it on my desk. It's like, Grace, I think you'll like this article. I was like, why?
really?
Yeah, I was like, why would you? I was like, is it because I'm Korean? Is it because I'm Korean? And he like looked a little embarrassed, you know, because I was
Of
calling him
course.
out. But he
Of
made those
course.
kinds of mistakes like all the time, all the fucking time.
Hmm.
And meanwhile, this was the same
Hmm.
guy who would say shit like, "I don't like to use the word foreign films because foreign films sounds xenophobic, so I like to
Oh
use the
God.
word
Here we go.
international movies or international films. It's less xenophobic." I'm like, can you shut the fuck up? You're like xenophobic to me, your employee, every day to my face, all the time. Why don't you start
It's
with
like, do
that?
you even know what xenophobia means? Do you even know what it means?
So dumb.
Crazy.
And that motherfucker, he has a PhD. Like he fucking, you know, very learned person, very like, you know,
Hmm.
so
Of
like
course.
egotistical about how like cultured and learned he is, and I was just like, just sit down, man. Like I quit that job because of him. I literally quit because of him, because
Wow.
some of the things that he said to me, and I was just like, I'm fucking done. And oh my God, during those 2 weeks, like after I gave my notice, I was like walking around the street just smiling like all the time. Involuntarily grinning everywhere I went. Like I had just gotten my wisdom teeth pulled, but I didn't care. Like
Uh,
I was always smiling. Like it felt so good, you know?
that's hysterical.
Oh,
That's so funny.
yeah. I just
New York is interesting because people think, well, it's the North and,
mhm.
people are so
Mhm.
progressive up there, but it's a different type of
Yeah.
racism
Yeah.
for sure that happens up there. And it's
Yeah.
just so covert and so,
Yes. Yes.
it just sneaks up on you. I mean, you'll
Yeah.
be shocked. Like, and you can be in environments that should be liberal, and you're
Uh-huh.
just like, whoa, what is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, "Oh, I thought this was a safe place, but no, turns out there are
Not
knives
really.
everywhere." Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and especially in academia, like just the stories that I've read,
Yes. It's yeah.
it's just so jarring, you know.
Some of the worst kinds of things happen in academia because it's similar to what we were talking about. It's like these people think that they're woke, they think they're, again, because they're educated, they're so knowledgeable, they think they're very left, very liberal, very woke, not susceptible to any mistakes or errors.
Right,
And
right.
meanwhile, they got like bombs going off everywhere, or like all around. And
Yeah.
when you try and tell them about it, they are so in firm denial of it. They have no idea what you're
Yeah.
talking about. They're like, how could I be when I am this cultured and this educated, you know?
Right,
But the
right.
fact is, literally, and this was the big, like, this is what I mean by like the learning curve thing as a teacher, is like the fact is, every single person, they're susceptible to blind spots at all times, every
Mm-hmm.
single person on
True.
earth. And that's what makes us human. And I feel like that should be
Hmm.
embraced. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to fuck it up, but it's not
It's
okay
okay.
to deny it. Right?
Exactly. It's like, how else are you supposed to grow? You didn't
Yes.
come here knowing everything.
No. No.
Nobody came here knowing everything.
Nobody. Like,
Yeah.
everybody, like people who write books, they don't fully live by the things that they wrote. Like
No.
they're always still trying every day to, you know,
Hmm.
s- um, rise up to the challenges of every single day. So
Hmm.
just, it's like, if we work in arts and humanities, let's be humane to one another. Let's really understand what humanism and humanity is. And part of that is recognizing that, like, the words you write and the life you live are very different. It's like it's trying to make those 2 points merge at all times. So, yeah, again, I would say those are the A- people like,
Yeah.
that have a
Exactly.
problem with an A-.
The A-
A-
people.
people. Yes, their mothers wore those long ass fur coats and yelled at their biology teachers. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into some flashcard questions. So
Okay.
the show that I'm talking about in this episode is called The Greatest Love. It came out in 2011. And it's a rom-com. And I chose this. I was
Hmm.
like, like Kimberly Clark, she reminds me of like a sweet, funny rom-com. Like, yes. you know, it's
Somebody called me Black Julia Roberts. I cracked up. I said, "Shut up." Because of
okay.
my big toothy smile.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. And also like Julia Roberts, like she's strong. There's like she's
Hmm.
like empowering. At least like it's not like what's her face, like Anne Hathaway or some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, no,
that would
no.
be an
No
insult
offense to Anne Hathaway
through and
or
through.
her
Oh
family.
gosh, I can't. But yeah, okay. Yeah, Julia Roberts, queen of rom-coms. Yes, I'm down. Okay. So I'm gonna give you some flashcard scenarios based on the show. And I would just ask
Mhm.
you, like, what would you do if you were in that situation? So,
Okay.
like, let's say you used to be in a pretty popular K-pop girl group back in like 2001. Your name's Kuejung, but the
Mhm.
group disbanded, and when it disbanded, everybody blamed you for it. They said you were the reason, and that led
Mm.
to your downfall as a celebrity. Now you're like a D-lister celeb, and
Mm.
nobody respects you. Everybody treats you like crap, but you still work in the industry. What do you do?
You know what? First of all, if everybody blamed me, I would just leave the country and not even go back to the industry.
Hmm.
Like that wouldn't even be the end of my bio. You know what I mean? That I went from A-lister to
Her.
B-lister. I mean, it's better to go from B-lister to A-lister.
Yes.
So if I was doing that backward
Uh-huh.
decline, I definitely would leave the country, go backpacking, I
Mm,
don't know, and just do something else in another part of the world where
okay.
nobody knew who I was. Like that would be the perfect
Hmm.
scenario for me if I was in that situation. I don't understand why people keep trying to make it work that already like you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you already reached the peak, but I mean I get it because especially most K-pop stars
Yes.
are what like 9 when they start. I mean they're super
Yeah.
young. Like they're
They're
super
children.
duper young. Yes, and then they reach like their peak of success when they're like 20, if that, 17.
And you're all washed up
And
and
then it's
old.
like life is over. Yeah, and and even on a serious note with the suicides,
Oh, yeah.
of some of those stars too that I've read about, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, you have all of this success so quickly
Yeah.
and I don't know, it's time to do something completely different,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what I would do. I would just see another part of the world and don't even look at those people ever again.
Yeah.
And they could blame all they want.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
very healthy response. I like it. All
Brian,
right, so
that's what quarantine will do for you.
yeah.
Lots of therapy
Yeah.
and
Yeah, self-care. Yeah. Yeah.
self care.
Yeah. Go to the people who want you. Stay away from the people who don't want you. Yeah. So
Yes,
pragmatic.
yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's say you're a hot, handsome man brat. Okay.
Oh boy.
You're a hot, handsome man brat. You're a superstar. Okay. You're in your 30s. Your name's Tokujin. You're a big time actor in films, TV shows, and then you meet this washed up former K-pop star loser Kuejung, and you find her
Hmm.
really pathetic. But one day you see her get slapped in the face by her former manager. Like it happens in front of you, and her face turns red and she even starts to get a nosebleed. What do you do?
I will punch that dude out. Is her manager a dude?
Yeah,
Yeah, I would punch him out for sure.
just come and
That's
defend
what a
her.
real man should do is
Mm,
like, if there are men listening to this, you need to punch that dude out. If
mm-hmm.
you ever see another man disrespect a woman like that
Mm-hmm.
physically,
Yes.
you need to jump in.
Yeah.
And that's what I would do if what's his name? Clejon? This his name? Don't laugh at me.
Cliché. Like he's French all of a sudden. He's like French Canadian.
You know what? As I was saying it, something in my head was like, don't even try it. But I went and I did it anyway.
Yeah. Uh, his name is it's a tricky name. It's Tokojin is his name. Um,
Tokoji.
Tokojin, yeah, that's the superstar's name.
Tokoji.
So let's say you're the same bratty superstar Tokojin guy. Would you say earlier Jean Claude or whatever? Yeah, let's say you're
I don't
him,
know what I said. I
the
should.
the Canadian French dude. Yes, and you had heart surgery about 10 years ago. Okay, so that's in your medical history. But whenever you hear this one song that Kuejung, this washed up K-pop star chick, like whenever one of her songs plays, your heart starts to beat uncontrollably. Like, what?
This makes me want to watch this show now. Like, this is really interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, what would you do if this kept happening?
Huh, that's really weird. I guess I would kind of take it as a sign, like, well, maybe this person is supposed to be in my life or something.
Hmm. Okay,
Hmm.
I like that. You believe in fatalism? Like you believe in love and fate and things like that?
I really don't like the word fate, but I do believe in synergy and you
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
everything happens for a reason type of thing. Everything
Okay.
lays out a certain way for a reason,
Okay. Sweet. I
for
like
your
that.
benefit, for
Yeah.
your good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Cool. All right. So last flashcard question. Let's say
Hmm.
you're the former K-pop chick, Kuejung. You and the bratty superstar guy, Tokojin, you guys share the same agency, okay?
Oh
And
boy.
the two of you are now in love. You guys like each other, okay? And your
Hmm.
talent agent tells you in private to stop seeing him because you might ruin his reputation. What do you do?
Because I might, oh, because the fact that I'm washed up and he's like
Mm-hmm.
higher up or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Wow. I feel like that happens a lot in Hollywood, you know? That happens like all the, I feel like that happens more often than not.
Mm.
That's jacked up. Look, I don't know. I hate, first of all, I hate being told what to do. So that's a problem already. I will listen to the agent and be like, mm-hmm, okay. And then I'm gonna do what I want to do and continue to see him.
Yeah.
But who's gonna stop me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's ways of sometimes when you sneak around too, that makes it even hotter, right?
It does. All right. Congratulations on the TV thing. That's great.
Thank you.
And I know that
Thank
you
you.
got
That I
some
can't talk about
none
yet.
of us can talk about it. I know you have some other big thing that's coming too and like big congratulations on that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
well deserved. I'm a fan of your comedy, so yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So next week we're going to talk about one of my favorite Korean dramas of all time. It's called My Lovely Samsun, okay? Or 내 이름은 김삼순, right? And it's an amazing show. Like it's a classic. It's a classic K-drama. Let's put it that way. It stars Hyunbin. In fact, this is the show that kind of launched his career. It put him on the map and it made everybody realize like what an amazing star, right? Like Hyunbin is. So it's a show that's worth seeing if you have not seen it. It's a feel-good drama similar to The Greatest Love. I think we all kind of need it, especially in the winter months, right? I mean, it's cold. It's cold and it's wintry. So let's get down with some of these feel-good dramas. I believe this is set during the summer. Okay? So, yeah. We'll see some nice scenes throughout this drama. So that's the show we'll be talking about. And folks, as always, if you have questions for me, please email me. Email me, kdramaschool@gmail.com. You could follow me on all the socials at kdramaschool. All the socials. It's the same. At kdramaschool. It's the same. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, okay? I don't know what you're liking and what you're subscribing to. You could be subscribing to anything, subscribing to Apple, Apple Podcasts or subscribing on YouTube. But please do it. If you haven't left us a review, please leave us some nice reviews. Leave us nice 5 stars on Apple. That'd be great. That would help me out so much. And visit our website, kdramaschool.com. If you haven't visited already, there's some nice little info things on the website. So check it out. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you all next week.